way better role. Way like love it. I'm like
Ready?
okay. This is Haley and this is Bailey. You're listening to Unleashed.
So I never understood the purpose of a zodiac sign, and so I decided just to look it up. And it says that the original purpose of a zodiac sign is basically to give a path or course of someone's life based off of the moment they were born. And I'm like, yeah, okay. That doesn't really give me much insight into what I was confused of, but that's what it is. Bailey, what's your zodiac sign?
So I am a Capricorn. I was born January 14th. What about you? What are you?
I am a Leo. I was born August 17th. It's so weird though, because I've seen the traits of a Leo, though I do think I have some. I don't think I demonstrate a lot of them, which is interesting.
I think they are interesting. I think it'd be fun to read what ours say and then talk about what we think we compare, like what we agree with and what we don't agree with. Because I think it's really interesting to look at zodiac signs, but I also feel that I don't relate to every single one in Capricorn. Like there's some I'm like, yeah, that seems like my personality. And then there's some I'm like, no, that doesn't really sound like me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Comment your zodiac sign and let us know. I want to hear what everybody's and what your strengths and weaknesses may be. Well, we're going to talk about that and dive also into enneagrams. Is that how you say it? Enneagram?
I don't. Yeah, I was
personality
gonna ask you how to
test.
say it.
Yeah, it's a harder word to say for sure. So, what are some of the strengths and weaknesses that you do and don't agree with for your Capricorniness?
Okay. Capricorniness. Okay, I'm going to read what the Capricorn traits are, and then Haley, we can have a discussion what we think relates to me or is a trait that I have or isn't. Okay, this is just from a random website that we got. But Capricorns are ambitious, determined from the Google. Capricorns are ambitious, determined, patient, mature, powerful, achiever, mysterious, reserved, and detached, cautious, hot-tempered, generous. I feel like this is every word. Hard workers. They are usually very ambitious and enjoy responsibility. They are self-disciplined and respect authority. They are career-orientated with a remarkable capacity for endurance and patience. They possess a tough exterior to prevent others from hurting them. Inside, the mysterious Capricorn is a charming and patient human. They also possess a remarkable sense of humor.
There was one sentence in there that really stood out for me for you. I want to hear what your thoughts are first.
Okay, wait. I want to hear what you had to say. Now you really got me all intrigued.
Okay, the sentence that it says they possess a tough exterior to prevent others from hurting them. That is 100%.
That definitely stood out to me too, and I was like, "Ooh, I feel like that's very much me." I feel like there are things in it that I definitely agree with. I feel like it's so weird being like, "Yeah, I'm this, I'm that." There's things in it that I love agree with,
about
but
myself.
then there's things I love it. But okay, humor, that's definitely not what I'm known for. I don't feel like that's a definition of me. That or hot-tempered, I don't feel like that's me. Detached, also not me. I don't know. I feel like there's some things that I'm just that does not seem right. But ambitious, determined. I don't know. It sounds weird being this is what I am. There's things.
Just shed that layer off. It's okay. All episodes really all about personality tests. You can't really not talk about yourself when you're talking about personality tests. So you're just gonna have to get over that real fast.
True. Okay, so I guess at the first sentence, I'd say ambitious, determined, patient, mature, achiever, reserved. Mm-hmm. Those all I feel kind of go in line with me. But I would say the detached, cautious, hot-tempered are not me. Generous, hard worker. I feel like that.
Oh, Bailey,
me.
But I feel like what are you talking about?
All the time, always angry, always yelling.
Like a switch. It's just bam. Just joking. If you actually know Bailey at all, she's not she doesn't have an angry bone in her body. She'll shut down. She'll get quiet, but I don't think you're quick to react in a hot-tempered way.
No, I definitely am not. I think that comes from I definitely like to process something, and I feel like hot temper is more when you're not as much processing it, you're more reacting off your emotions, and I feel like I tried to not do that actually.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read what yours are. Let's see if you feel like what you relate to versus don't.
I don't like mine. Ugh. Okay. Leos are loving and sensitive leaders. Okay, I like that part. Leos love children, enjoy luxury and jewelry, and have bigger than life dramatic attitude. Leos are show offs, egotistical. What is that word? Egoistical. I can't say that word. Dominant, powerful, determined, charismatic, very demanding, athletic, smart, arrogant, pompous, conceited, temperamental, competitive, passionate, stubborn,
Mine
loud,
sounded
loyal.
so much better than yours.
Sound like a horrible human. Okay, anyway, so competitive, passionate, stubborn, loud, loyal, strong-willed, unusually laid back, can be highly aggressive or even potentially destructive. They typically want to be the center of attention and have tremendous sense of vitality. Wow.
All right, so there's like a
That's
few
a lot.
things in there, but like maybe we start with the what you don't agree with.
Like half of that. Okay, maybe old Haley that was in like high school would totally like crave to be the center of attention, but I avoid that like at all costs now. Like I don't want attention on me. I hate being sang happy birthday. It drives me nuts. I think it's the most awkward experience in human history. Not only does the song sound like you're like singing a funeral, like it's like creepy, but it's like, what do? You just like sit there and you're like, oh,
I always just laugh.
I get so uncomfortable. Like, don't sing me happy birthday or I will run out of the room. Like, don't.
So I will definitely be singing you happy birthday, just so you know.
Great. I shouldn't have said anything. Dang it. Yeah, so definitely don't like to be the center of attention. I mean, not to say that I can't have these moments for sure, but I think overall, like there was a lot like, okay, enjoy luxury and jewelry. I love jewelry and luxury, but it's not something I would put into a category of my personality. And I definitely don't crave that stuff. Like, I don't know. Why is that in there? Jewelry specifically. Okay. Okay. I definitely think I agree with the determined. When I have my mindset on something, I don't let up. Charismatic. Oh man, a lot of these are like passionate. I can be stubborn, very much. Loud. Oh yeah, I'm loud. You always have to turn my volume down on editing. I know you do. I'm so loud. Strong-willed, usually laid back.
I feel like you have two. I feel like sometimes you're laid back, but I feel like that wouldn't be like who you are.
I want
altogether.
to be. I crave to be laid back, but my personality does not allow me to be. I am like,
so you're like, no, that is not me.
No. Can be highly aggressive and or potentially even destructive. Destructive is such an intense word. Like I hear tornado when I hear that. I am not destructive.
So we're just saying 90% of this is a no for Haley. She is not a Leo.
No.
Did we? I feel like we found some better traits up above.
Yeah.
What about
above?
Those?
So this traits, it says creative, passionate, generous, warm-hearted, cheerful, and humorous.
Nailed it. I feel like those fit you way more. So we're on the right track there.
The weaknesses,
you gotta look
I
at the
agree
Google
with too.
for the right ones.
Yeah, the Google. I find the right website. Arrogant, stubborn, self-centered, lazy, and inflexible. I don't know about lazy. I definitely have my lazy moments for sure, but
I don't feel like you're lazy though. Like as overall.
No. I definitely think I can be a little inflexible. What is arrogant? How does someone define arrogant?
I feel like that wouldn't be what you are.
Having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's you at all. No,
I don't.
I didn't think that word was the right fit, but
I can be stubborn. I can be stubborn for sure. What about you? What are your traits?
I like how you go. For sure.
For sure.
Strengths: responsible, disciplined, self-control, good managers. Weaknesses: know-it-all, unforgiving, condescending, expecting the worst. I would say the weaknesses are not.
You are not know-it-all. Not at all.
No. I do not
feel like, basically, zodiac signs are a bunch of crap. Just joking. Um,
We're literally like, let's talk about zodiac signs, and we agree with nothing that they say.
right. I remember when we were talking to that lady, she's like, "You don't embrace your inner Leo," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" What does that
You're like,
mean for
well,
me?
guess I
Do
gotta
you
change
remember
my
when
whole
she told me that?
personality. Yeah, you're like, I gotta change everything.
I was like, okay, but yeah, no, I think you responsible, disciplined, self control, good managers. I think you kind of do expect the worst sometimes, though. I do because of your history, though. I don't think that's
Sometimes,
your. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think that's like a. I think that's not based off your personality. I think that's based off of your experiences. Maybe that does make it personality. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I feel like that's something okay, I think yes, and I think it's something I'm working on. So maybe I wanna say no, but I know that's something that I am more working on than so it is like something I obviously have a trait of because it's something I'm trying not to have a trait of.
My favorite part about this, it says on your dislikes, Capricorn dislikes, it says almost everything at some point. You hate everything almost at some point in life.
In some point in life, you don't like everything.
Oh my gosh. So does that include me? Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Don't
sorry.
answer that question. Oh, okay. Dang it.
We're having a good time with this one.
This one's good. I love learning about people's personalities. Like I remember when we first started talking, I sent you a personality test because I wanted to get straight to the core and understand who you were as a person. And even Evan. I remember Evan butchered the personality test, so he like didn't get anything close to him. And I'm like, man, he's got to do it again. So I mean, when we were doing the quizzes for our enneagrams, you had to take it twice because I was like, Bailey, this is not you. And you're like, I didn't understand the questions. Like, okay, well, let's do it together then. Let me help walk you through this.
Literally. Literally. I like in this that it says I feel like the Capricorn likes for me and for some of them. No. I feel like some of them for me, like the family tradition, that's very me. But that's
You
about
love
it.
family and tradition. Quality
Those are the only two from the
craftsmanship,
I
music,
don't even know.
what does it mean to say understated status? What
I
does
don't
that
know.
mean?
It's a good question.
Wow. We have a lot of
We really
questions
jumped
for
back
our
into this
audience.
conversation as we were talking about something else. Sorry, I was reading that as you were talking and then I got distracted.
It's all good.
This is
That's
how
all
our
good.
conversations go most of the time if it's
It really is.
you know.
I mean, even one of the questions on the personality test was, do you get distracted easily? Like,
Definitely,
yes,
100%.
yes. It doesn't help that Bailey and I both get distracted very easily. So it's
yeah.
like we're both like squirrels that just go like out together. We're just like, okay. You have to guide us
literally.
way gently, help us lead the way. Anyway, what are my likes? Theater, taking holidays, being admired, expensive things. What is with this expensive things? Bright colors, fun with friends. I agree with almost all of these. I did theater in high school. Yeah, I was a weirdo. I loved taking holidays. Cool siren.
I'm in France.
I'm in Colorado. That's so lame compared to you.
I almost said Italy. Every time I'm in Europe, I always say Italy, but we are in France right now.
You're like, I'm going to Italy. Oh, cool. Where? Barcelona? That is not Italy.
Every time I was having like a full on I was having a conversation with someone. I was like, yeah, in Italy. And they're like, you're in France. I'm like, oh, yeah, in France. That's what I meant.
Yeah, duh. Okay. But yeah, so taking holidays, being admired. I think I would change being admired. I just like to be validated. I think I need that reassurance. I
That's
think
a good one.
that I would say rather than being admired. Expensive things. I used to be like maybe when I was first married, oh man, my expectations were so high. I always expected really expensive stuff. And then I came to realize how stupid that is. Like that does not change your worth. That doesn't, I mean, there's nothing wrong liking expensive stuff, but I'm just like, I don't care about a price tag of something. Bright colors. Fun with friends. Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like those were kind of on. So I feel like even though I feel like it's like half of the things are right and half of the things are wrong. So something Evan always says to me, and now like it's always stuck in my head, is he's like, when you read a zodiac sign, it's so general and it could fit anybody. But I feel like you just have to pull the parts that do fit.
It's like a buffet. You just take what you like.
Yeah, I'd say there's like half the things were like, yeah, that is what our traits are, and then the other half are like, no. But I'd be curious if you did take, or if not, it's not the test, but if you read your zodiac sign, like, is it like 100% right, or is it like half right? I'm curious because I feel like for both of us, that was pretty half
I know
for
my
each thing.
family, my mom, my sister, and I were all Leos, and it's interesting because I feel like when you have a ton of the same personality in one like section or one like group, it can be kind of intense, and it can either go one of two ways. It can either be really intense or it can be like totally quiet and awkward depending on the personality. But like, for example, when my mom and I will like get into an argument, we'll be saying the same thing but in two different ways. And then Bryce will be like, guys are saying the same thing. Like, it doesn't stop. You're just saying it two different ways. Like, no, it's 4:45. No, it's 4:45. Like, that's how we do it. It's just how it works. But I'm like, I think that's kind of how it is with personalities. They, when they are the same, they can sometimes butt heads. That's why it's good to have like that yin and yang, that opposite.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a thing where it's like you are supposed to be able to be compatible with certain kinds of signs, and then you're not compatible. So do you know if we're compatible? Have you looked that up?
I actually looked up the ones that are not compatible. There, I did see the compatible ones, but I didn't make notes on that. I did see something about it was the ones that weren't compatible for zodiac signs. It was Capricorn and Pisces, I think it was. Yeah, because Capricorn is Saturn and Pisces is Jupiter. And it was saying that Jupiter doesn't want to hear about your emotions. Like, or not Jupiter, Pisces doesn't want to hear about your emotions, and they just like are like, get over it, whatever. But then Capricorns need to like process these like the emotions of things and like need to understand what's happening. And Pisces do not have the patience for letting them do that.
Oh,
And so they can,
interesting.
yeah.
It says best Leo love matches. When it comes to romantic compatibility, Leo's best matches are the air signs Libra. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, which is Leo's opposite signs. What is Bryce?
Leo
I got off track.
Bryce is Aquarius.
Yeah, that's both compatible.
Oh, I thought it was uncompatible.
No, that's who your love match should be.
Wait, seriously, Bryce? Are we compatible? Why? I feel like I should know this.
We got really off track on that one, though. Okay, and your lease, Leo. Wait, that's really cool. Let me come back to that. Wait, let me talk about that really quick. Wait, that is before I get distracted. We're getting too distracted. Um, that's so interesting that you and Bryce are compatible on your signs. That's like that. I feel like I feel like some of the things are really interesting to learn about, like why. And it's saying because they're the most opposite of you is why you guys are attracted to like a good match, which you said at the beginning or like a little bit ago. Like it's really good to have people that have, as your yin and yang, because when you have too many of the same personalities in the same room, it like can get heated and you guys can't see eye to eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I've also heard that having the oldest of like a sibling, so like the oldest and marrying an oldest can have a harder time because they're both used to being like the leader, the example, the one that takes control. And when they have two of those, it's hard because they're like so used to being that one, and then they can butt heads. Same with also babies and babies, like the youngest and youngest. Bryce and I are youngest and youngest, and people were always telling us that when we were getting married, they're like, oh, two babies are marrying each other. And we're like, yeah, well, the problem is we'll probably just have nicer things before we should. And because the babies tend to be more spoiled, as the stereotype is, and I use air quotes on that. But I think it's just kind of funny. Bryce and I were like, we just kind of play into it. But I think it's worked. I mean, obviously we're still married and in love, so I hope it's going good.
Yeah. Your least compatible are Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio.
Well, I think that's interesting that I'm least compatible with those because I thought Pisces was with Capricorn, which was yours, but apparently I was wrong on that. So, but I wonder what our compatibility is for a Leo and a Capricorn. I'm gonna look.
Yeah, let's look that.
So,
I feel like that's where we started. We just got a little distracted there.
Sorry, guys. It says a Leo Capricorn relationship is based on intimacy and trust. A deep trust forms between these lovebirds when their confidence takes root. They are both passionate partners who can enjoy being together in harmony for long periods. Leo needs security from their partner, and a Capricorn requires unconditional support. So take out the intimacy and the love, connection.
The love
Put that
part
into
of that.
the love part. So taking out the relationship of the intimate partner part and putting that into like a friendship circumstance, I actually think that's pretty accurate for us, because it says that we both being together for long periods, I need security from you, like meaning like I just kind of need that reassurance, and then like you require that unconditional support in whatever you're doing, which 100% is us.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm a little crying over here just because Haley made me laugh, but
Okay, I'm gonna look up what Capricorn for just Bailey's least compatible is. So it says Capricorns are least compatible with Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Aquarius is Bryce, so you guys, which is funny though, because I feel like you and Bryce get along the best.
yeah, I think that is really funny. I feel like we get along pretty well, so I feel like I don't know. That'd be interesting. I guess it would be more. I feel like you have to see from a few different people in the same zodiac sign.
What's Evan's zodiac?
He is an Aries.
I want to ask a question. If Evan's an Aries, right? Evan's an Aries.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, from based off of the zodiac signs, you guys are compatible?
I don't know what his like zodiac sign stands for, but compatibility wise, yes, I think we're very compatible.
I think when it comes to the relationship, regardless of what zodiac sign you are, it's just about how much effort and work you have to put into it, because just because the zodiac sign says one thing or another does not mean that it's designated like that's your personality. I think it's just like this is a generic, like these people have a more tendency to have these personality traits than a Leo, like, or a Capricorn or an Aries or an Aquarius, like whatever they are, they have more like tendencies to have those characteristics.
Definitely. I think it's just really fun to look at this stuff because I think it kind of gets those conversations going and being like, oh, am I like that? And I think it kind of gives you a moment to step back and think about your personality a lot, because I just don't think that's something you do that often. You're not thinking like, oh, I'm exactly like this. I think it's a fun thing to look at and talk about. And it was actually really fun to have a conversation about our zodiac signs to kind of like bounce ideas, I guess, back and forth about what we think of each other and share a little bit more of what our personalities are like, because I think it's interesting to understand people in a different way. And you kind of learn them by literally just sitting down and going over what their zodiac sign is, because they're like, oh, yeah, I am like that. And oh, I'm not like that at all.
Yeah. I hear people all the time be like, oh, I don't do that because I'm a Sagittarius, or I don't do that because I'm a Gemini. And I'm like, what does that mean? Can you explain what that means to me? Because I am confused.
Yeah. I definitely don't like relate to my like Capricorn sign. I do not say that. I don't really know it well enough to be like, I don't do that because I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. And I think zodiac signs are really cool and I really like them. I love horoscopes. I think those are fun. But I love the Enneagram test that we took, because that one was really accurate, I think, especially because when you do certain Enneagram tests, they give you what's also called a wing, which is like your secondary trait with it. And they have, I think isn't it 9 personality types in an Enneagram?
Yeah, I don't know if that's how we pronounce it, but yes, that is. I actually see this.
If
I
we're
feel
not
like
saying
on
that
so
right,
many
let us
people's.
know.
Yeah, I feel like I see so many stories of people asking that question, like, "Oh, what are you?" Because people are so intrigued by it. Because I feel like you can learn a lot about somebody maybe if like what number
Exactly.
they are, because there's so much details in each one.
So we took a couple of the Enneagram quizzes. What was your most common response or answer you got?
I got pretty much like neck and neck. We're type 3 and type 7.
I was type 3 too. That's funny. So I'll just read off all the types, what the names of them are. So there's type 1. Type 1's the perfectionist. Type 2 is the giver. Type 3, the achiever. Type 4, the individualist. Type 5, the investigator. Type 6, the skeptic. Type 7, the enthusiast. And type 8, the challenger. And type 9, the peacemaker. So those, and then they each have their own explanations as to what they are. So for type 3, Bailey and I both got type 3 as our first one. It says the achiever. These want to be successful and admired by other people and are very conscious of their public image. They fear failure and not being seen as a valuable person. So people of this personality type need to be validated in order to feel worthy. They pursue success and want to be admired. They frequently are hardworking, competitive, and are highly focused in pursuit of their goals. Whether their goals are to be successful or self-made, they usually find in some area a way to excel and thus they need external validation, which they so desperately need. It's kind of dramatic right there, I think, a little bit, but I think I really do. I like that. I'm very goal focused. I keep talking like, what is this?
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like I'm pretty goal focused. I feel like, but the end I do feel is like a little extreme, but I feel like for the most part, we're both pretty goal
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah. Like
And
I don't
can't remember.
crave validation, but I definitely
Yeah.
like validation and like that,
Yeah, I'm
like,
the same way.
good job. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? Some people do actually get uncomfortable when people compliment them and like they don't know what to do. And so maybe that could be like a person who wouldn't be considered someone who would be the achiever personality type. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's interesting that we both got that. I actually we both took the test like 3 times, 3 different ways, and I feel like we both got pretty much the same answers, which I feel like is a lot more on it than our zodiac signs because obviously that's a little bit more generic. Where this you're taking a test, and we took different tests, but they came back pretty similar. I'd say we ended up getting
Yeah.
threes a
I
lot.
like that this one, yeah, the last one we took was really we'll post a link of this when we so you guys can take it. It's literally just like 52 questions and it's like, are you distracted or focused? And then you put like from like 1 to 5 pretty much. It's like how much do you lean towards one side or the other. So it's very easy. It's not like it's a hard quiz to take. It's just like one of those personality tests. And so I think it's gonna be interesting. I'd love to hear what a lot of people's enneagrams are, just because it says, like, I looked up some of the things of pros and cons with type 3. Type 3 says that please don't waste our time, reveal my secrets, and focus on my failures. Like those are the things I don't like.
Oh, I feel like that is kind of both us.
Yeah, yeah. And then it says what they love, reaching a goal, recognition, and inspiring others.
Wow, that seems pretty spot on.
Yeah. See, like the bullet points are good. I think like when you get to like when you read too much into it, I think it can get a little like, whoa, like when I was reading it, I'm like, this is kind of dramatic. This feels like kind of like they crave to be appreciated. I'm like, no, like it's like I'm not craving it, but it definitely like I like it. It's good. But they're charming, confident, organized, and accomplished. They can be the cheerleader and a really good friend. Um, and they definitely have high hopes for their futures.
I feel like that's pretty on for both of us. I feel like that's definitely things we talk about often, even on our podcast. I mean, if you listen to our podcast, I feel like those are a lot of things that we are talking about. So it's kind of interesting to see when you do the quiz, like what it pulls and why. I actually feel like when I was doing the quiz, I had to really think about it. And then Haley and I were talking about it because I was definitely overthinking it. But it is super simple. It's just like you have to kind of dive into what you do and there you can put in the middle or you can do different things, but I think you have to just really think about it. And I think a lot of times, like the first time I did it, I kind of just jumped to what I thought instead of like really thought about it. And you kind of have to think about your personality more because it's like I said earlier, you're not always thinking about those things in your personality, but it's really fun to think about.
Well, it's interesting too because I feel like when I was taking these, I had to remember what I'm like overall, not just in certain dynamics. Like I can be extremely shy with people I don't know, but like when I'm with people I'm like my family and like with you, I'm very not shy. I'm like very extroverted. I can be very personable. I talk a lot. I love to interact, but when I'm not in like that kind of environment, I'm not like that at all. Like I'll get very reserved. I keep to myself. I'm just kind of more of an observer and I just kind of enjoy the moment. So with these personality types, they came with a wing, which means like it's something that is following up to your main personality. What was your second one? You said it was 7, right?
No, that's just what it was like. One sec. Let me look. It was like 372, but it says you are most likely a type 3, the achiever with 3 wing 2.
The 2s want to be liked and find ways that they can be helpful to others so they belong. This type fears being unlovable.
I do not feel like that's me. That one I disagree with. Veto.
Okay. False. This is not true. Okay, well, my wing was 4, and it
Well,
says,
let's move on.
well, that's awkward. It says the individualist, fours want to be unique and to experience deep, authentic emotions. Type fours fear they are flawed and they are overly focused on how they are different from other people.
That is
Yep.
very Haley.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I
We got
always am
both
talking about
extremes.
how different. Yeah. I always talk about how I was such a different child growing up. I talk about how I feel like I want to be different, but not in a weird way. Like I want to be unique. I very much focus on that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's something we talk about actually kind of often is like you want to find that balance of like being unique, but then like you're like I overthink it and like you're trying to find that balance of what makes the most sense, but you put a lot of pressure on that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also really interesting too with type 3 personalities, the achiever, they say that they often experience imposter syndrome, which is
That is interesting.
yeah, with the career choice, they are more creators. They like photography. I heard was a common one, which is interesting because we do like content creation with pictures. But like imposter syndrome, they don't feel like they have a sense of belonging, or they like are kind of like out of the loop, essentially. Which I feel like everyone at some point, at some point, probably can experience imposter syndrome, which I didn't know was a thing really until like maybe I was in college. And I actually experienced that when I changed my major, and that was like, and I went to my new department. I was like, oh, I don't feel like I belong here. This doesn't feel right. But it was like, no, yeah, I don't know. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome?
For sure. I feel like that's something, especially going from like a preschool teacher to a content creator. There's a lot of that. I feel like every content creator you talk to has at one point, maybe not everyone, but most people I've talked to have been like, yeah, I definitely have felt that. And I think it's just there's such an unknown world in it, and like not a lot is talked about, and there's a lot of comparison, and there's a lot of pressure, and there's all these different things. So I think that can just happen from almost getting in your head too much in the world. So I think definitely I've been there before.
Well, I was talking to my dad the other day, and we were talking about influencers and how a lot of influencers have a certain look. And I was like, yeah, I remember when I was in Paris, like everyone's out getting content and pictures, and I was just like, oh gosh, I hope I don't look like that. And he's like, you definitely don't. And I was like, is it like distinct? Like you can tell. He's like, yeah, you can tell people like try really hard to like get the perfect picture, and like I'm like, oh gosh. And then I'm like, we were talking then about like us, and he's like, Bailey does not have that influencer look, and I was like, no, like definitely not. And I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like for us to not have that? He's like, no, it's a good thing because you can tell there's a genuineness to us. Like we're not out there just to get content, like take a picture and then go. It's like, oh, we're actually experiencing this place too. And it's like we're trying to have fun with it and enjoy the moment. And I think that that's really important when it comes to how we like to work. Like it says that we're here to inspire others, and which comes back to the Enneagram quiz that we took. So take the Enneagram quiz, people. I really think it'd be interesting. You can learn a lot about yourself. Like I took it 6 years. Have you ever taken it before, Bailey? Is this your first time?
I don't think so. No, this is my first time.
Oh, okay. So I took it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I got a totally different answer. That's why I wasn't going to take it again, but I was like, I don't feel like this is me anymore because I was reading over it, and I'm like, I got personality type 6, which is like you have to have everything. You have to be prepared for everything. You have to, have security. You're very much like methodical and think everything out. So you plan everything. And like I am to a point, but I'm not as driven by security. I'm not as driven by security as I used to be, which is interesting because you change. So like if you've taken the Enneagram test before, try it again because your answers could change.
Definitely. I feel like you're changing so much, and especially in different phases in life. You go through so many different ones. It'd be interesting to kind of do every couple of years and see like, oh, have I changed that much? Because I think a lot of times we don't realize how much we have changed because you're literally with yourself every day. You hear that a lot with like seeing somebody grow up. When you're with them every day, you don't see that like big of a change. But when you don't see them all the time and it happens, so you see such an extreme difference. And I think that's something with our personalities that you don't see your personality change that much, but it really does when you look back on how you used to be. And it would probably be interesting to do this test and see how you're evolving through time.
That's actually really a good idea, taking it throughout like life in different phases because yeah, you change so much. I mean, we're already halfway through the year. I remember when we just did our podcast on how can you unleash the new year and our goal setting. And I mean, we're already halfway through, and I think about who I was in January and I'm like, holy cow, I've pushed myself so much.
Our friendship.
Our friendship?
changed
Oh
so
my
much.
gosh. I feel like we've been friends for so long. Like we just
I know,
celebrated like
right?
a 1 year, like of just even meeting. Like officially, I think our
Yeah.
friendship really blossomed in like September, October is when it really got to
Yeah,
that like
definitely.
genuineness. But I mean, we're not even that a year yet if we're looking at it from that point. So things change drastically. And like, yeah, the sun up comes, sun goes down. You go to bed, you wake up, and things feel the same. But when you look over, a long period of time, you're like, wow, everything's so different, even though we go through life day by day.
What's so interesting about what you just said is I feel like this year we've really taken the time to see how much we're changing and really we're working on ourselves so much. I think both of us are really recognizing how much we have changed, if it's just this year or if it's over the last few years, because we've been taking the time to like sit back and think about it. And I actually have found such an appreciation for growing and changing because of taking that time to look at it. But it's little tiny things every day that make a big difference and can make something happen so quickly. Like our friendship, putting in those little bits of effort every day. It hasn't even been a year since we really opened up and got to know each other more, but we have grown so much in such a short amount of time because we're putting in the effort. And I feel like you see it so much more because we're taking the time to literally have these conversations, do a podcast. And I think if you step back and you do little things like talk about your zodiac sign and do the Enneagram test and you do all these different things, you really start to learn yourself in a new way. And it's just so, I love it. It's been so amazing for me. And I've grown so much more by just paying attention to all those things.
Absolutely. So how can you unleash yourself? Go and ask yourself, how can I, learn about my personality? Go take these quizzes, let us know, comment on them, and we can't wait to discuss them with you after you listen to this podcast.
Thanks for watching.